Hey there, thanks for joining us at the Rabbit Hole of Research, where you'll learn a few facts that you can impress your friends with at a party.
Hey, welcome back to the Rabbit Hole of Research down here in the basement studio. We're all crewed up.
Team.
We've got the whole team in studio. You've got me, Joe.
Yeah, I got Nick.
We've got Nick.
Got Georgia.
We got Georgia.
Yeah, Mary.
We've got Mary.
Oh,
and
hey, we got a special guest
we
today.
have a very special guest today, please.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm Lorena Salinas. I am an architectural drafter and designer, entrepreneur, and most importantly, an artist. So I would say I'm a Peruvian artist because all the art I create it tailors to my Peruvian culture.
Nice. And that is perfect because this episode we're going to be talking about the Nazca Lines of Peru and crop circles.
Yes.
So this kind of interesting cross-section of pop culture, history, cultural identity and history. So,
And this is leading off into our Halloween season, correct?
and this is not,
No, I thought this was...
I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't have to be horror. I think it's mysterious.
There's many mysteries behind the Nazca Lines. A lot of people have so many questions about who created this. And I don't know, honestly, I feel like it was us. And I think there's a lot of theories just floating out there that it could be the aliens, it could be the Nazca people. And then we go back to understand, like, who were the Nazca people?
Yeah.
And I can
That's a
say
good question.
they were my ancestors
Yeah.
because I'm from Peru.
So, could you let everybody know what Nazca lines are?
The Nazca Lines are geoglyphs that were created over 2,000 years ago, and they are in the desert. So if you can just think about these lines being created by humans in a desert area where there's supposed to be no water and no plants or anything like that, how were they able to create this? And so it becomes this huge controversy. And I can tell you back when because I was born and raised in Peru. So then this is what we talked about the entire time, about the different, because Peru has a lot of history. We have a lot of traditions. We have a lot of culture. But there are certain cultures that had created this sort of maps for us. And then the Nazca were this group of people that came way before the Incas, because a lot of people think, the very few people who know about Peru usually associates us with the Incas.
That's right.
And we say that ourselves. Even if you ask me, are you an Aztec or whatever? I'd be like, no, I'm from the Incas. But I can always go back and say, you know what? I am from the Nazcas too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were several different civilizations that came before the Incas in Peru.
Exactly.
And you're right, they were maybe the most well-known and the most studied.
Right.
But before that, there were
was
several that
Moche,
came through.
there
Right,
was
that's right.
Nazca, there was Paracas, there was Chimu.
Caral or
Yeah,
whatever.
Caral.
Yep. Another thing about the Nazca lines that were interesting is that it's not just lines. That some of these perfectly straight lines where it looked like the lighter colored pebbles removed for darker colored. And the other thing that's interesting when I was doing my research, because I looked this up, the desert there gets very little to no rain.
Right.
So it's a very pristine environment in terms of capturing these historical artifacts. And some people, you could see footprints of the workers who actually worked on the lines in this site being preserved. So
Thousands of years ago.
Yep.
Right,
So
right.
it's really interesting. Then you have
Are
figures.
you saying they're still preserved?
They still preserve.
They
yeah,
are
that's
preserved.
Right.
How could
Yeah.
they be preserved over that many?
Where there's no
because
weather.
nobody else is.
Yeah, no one else has, right, and no weather.
So
If you
how-
step in the mud, then it rains, that footprint's gone.
It should be
Here,
going
right.
away,
That's right.
especially with the wind and rain
That's right.
and
Yep.
all the
Yep.
elements.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's how fascinating this is to the
Wow.
entire world, to where they're like, how is this happening? How does it not go away? Who were these people?
Yeah.
Was it really the aliens or was it real people? And there has been a lot of scientific proof.
Yeah, and the other thing is not just lines, but there's the figures, the astronaut, the
Yes.
hummingbird, the spider, the monkey, the dog.
So
There's
Right.
all these
how
kind of
big are these?
yeah, and some of the lines stretch for miles, like 30 miles. And then you have figures that can be miles big. And you really can't tell what it is until you get an aerial view. And not just the Nazca lines, but, other sites around the world have this kind of phenomenon where you have these just really large how they do it. How would you plan that? How would you design it?
Yeah.
You could think about.
So is this just their way of going and doing like the giant statues, except it's laying down? It's less likely to be torn down. It's
So are you trying to say this is like a 2D version
yes.
of that?
Right, like a
Yes.
pyramid.
Well, it's important, first
Exactly.
of all, to
I
understand.
mean,
It's important to understand that the Nazca lines are categorized in, there's 3 different categories. So we just have the line itself, then we have the geometric shapes, and then we also have the other shapes that are either human or animals.
Right.
So then there's a lot of controversy behind maybe the straight lines that extend for miles and miles. Those were supposed to be some sort of connection to the stars, the moon, or the sun, pointing to the sun and stuff like that. And
giving
then,
direction,
Yeah.
like
Right.
a compass.
To water.
Yeah.
Some people, I've seen when I was doing research, I saw theories about water. The lines would be water points
leading
and
you
things. Right.
to the water. Yeah.
So-
Yeah, if you're up
But
at a
perfectly
vantage
straight.
point and you're able to see that,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this makes sense. Something is going this direction.
But they're perfectly straight. That's the thing. So
But-
if you think of like rivers or streams or creeks or nature, when you do landscaping in your yard, you usually try to avoid very straight lines because people go, that's very a hard line. In nature, usually you have curves, they're softer, they're meander,
true.
and that's very pleasing to the eye.
But you
And
see,
so-
in Peruvian culture, from when I was a child, they always taught us that we should go for the challenging thing. That's why, and that comes from our ancestors. They will always say, like, oh, look at the Incas. They built on such high altitude. So then, therefore, nothing is impossible. Whatever you think it's impossible, you can make it happen. And just like if we go back, we can go back to the Nazcas. And then they were in an environment that was so bad that they should have just moved out of there. But no, they didn't. They decided to stay there, and they created this whole thing that now it's being recognized by everyone, and it's this amazing thing. I'm surprised it's not one of the 7 wonders like Machu Picchu is.
Yeah.
But if you think of the Incas being amazing architects, to us Peruvians, when we think of the Nazcas, they were amazing mathematicians.
That's right. And so I was going to say that a lot of these designs, they're math based, like when you get down to it. So if you actually calculated it to Nick's point, like constructing the pyramids, that was a mathematical problem. So you can do it. There were, though, technical challenges that we still don't understand how that was accomplished without machinery, without our modern tools. And so that's what makes it really special. Not that, can we figure this out, but how would you do it at that time and on this scale? Because it's not just a small thing. These are large, massive. And so if you made a mistake, you would not see it, right? I mean, we could go up now with a drone, but back then, how would you tell you made a mistake?
So
And go ahead.
this is a really stupid question, but
No
they're
stupid
still
questions.
there.
They're
I mean,
still-
all the
Yeah.
designs are still there.
And the feet prints.
And the footprints.
And as of right, as of today, they continue to find
Yeah.
new geoglyphics.
They do. That's
They
right.
continue
Yeah,
to
that's
find.
right.
Like within the
Wow.
last 5
Yeah,
years, they
yeah.
have found, I believe, over 300.
Yep. They keep doing it. I mean, like even places you don't expect, like the Amazon jungle, you think that's a pristine, overgrown, but as unfortunately people are clearing parts of the jungle for different reasons, they've found now geoglyphs there that were made. So that means that someone at some point in time came through and made this structure. And I want to say there's two kind of types of geoglyphs. One are ones that are flat on the ground, but there are ones that are kind of 3-dimensional. So they're raised kind of mounds that I mentioned. Kazakhstan, that was one that had raised mounds that when you get in the air, you can see then a figure of the raised mounds make some sort of shape. But at ground level, they just look like regular mounds. That was the thing. It was on Google Earth that someone was looking for pyramids around the world, and they found this. They just saw the pattern. They're like, hold on, what is this? And it turned out to be one of these geoglyphs. So really fascinating. And everywhere. I mean, in America, South America, in Asia, Europe, where you can find these structures that have been there for thousands of years old, still persist in their environment. So the ones in Peru, the Nazca lines, are probably some of the most well-preserved because of just the environmental factors, right? Because the desert, the Nazca Desert, is such that you don't get a lot of weather events. And so that helps preserve these kind of features.
Right.
So, yeah,
Imagine in this area, there are
Right.
years that you only get 1 rain a year.
right.
Oh, wow.
Just
right.
think about that.
Right.
Wow. Have to hold on to every drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that is very fascinating. A lot of people talk about the lines themselves, but there was a lot of stuff behind it, like the infrastructure behind it, where they actually built this round circles that were created by them to lead the water from the mountains and create this sort of tunnels to make the water travel to different places.
Do you think the lines do the lines lead to water or no? Is that...
I think the lines were, what my personal belief is that the lines were initially created as a way for them to trying to do ceremonial things, because that's what we've been taught as kids.
So not as something as like a resource for the people, but more or less something...
Well, we believe, we Peruvians, I say we Peruvians, we believe that a lot of the lines were created as ceremonial spaces.
Yeah.
And then we also believe other things that were created were to pretty much be given as offerings to the gods, because they had different gods. And if you look at the geoglyphics, there were some that were of animals, animals that were unknown to them at the time.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, one of the most popular ones would be the hummingbird. Everyone in Peru knows the hummingbird, and it's used in a lot of different things in Peru. And we always think of the Nazca lines with the hummingbirds first, then the monkey.
Yeah.
And those are the two that are very popular. And then people will say, like, why the hummingbird? If they had no knowledge of a hummingbird, they've never seen a hummingbird. But if you think about Peru, the country itself is divided into 3 different regions, where we have the Amazon, then we have the mountain area, and then we have the desert area.
There aren't hummingbirds down there?
In the Amazons, yes, we have hummingbirds, monkeys. But where the Nazca lines are, they don't have any of it.
Oh, so like it would just be word of mouth that was going down then. Like,
well, when the Nazcas were there were also other cultures that were, there were also other, not cultures.
Tribes?
No, it's not tribes. It's civilizations that were coming up as well.
Right.
So then there has been some proof that they were exchanging things.
Yeah.
Because they have wood and they have other things that they have found nowadays that, of course, there was no wood there. So they talked to other civilizations and they exchanged things such as wood and plants, because they were able to grow actually trees there, and they were actually able to create these puquios. That's what it's called. Those circle things are called puquios. Yeah.
And I mean, they had no written language established yet.
It wasn't.
And things like that. So when you talk about communicating, the monkey in particular, that wasn't in that region. So they had to go out, and to make this large geoglyph of a creature that you've never seen, it is pretty amazing. And the other thing, you mentioned a few of the reasons. The other one I saw was for astronomical calendar kind of ideas, that these lines align with equinoxes and things like that, that might help. The spider figure might depict Orion, the constellation of Orion. So there were these ideas that, you know, I think, Nick, you raised a good point. This is the 2D version of some of the 3D thing, like Stonehenge. People think that also had some of these features in it. But it's such a, I mean, like the pyramids, you mentioned that the 7 wonders. It's just so amazing that if someone said, go out here now on a field, even a little field, a football field, 100 yards, and make a design with your lawnmower on that looks like something, right? I mean, it's not an easy task, even with tools, to go out and to do this kind of thing, to make it look. And you could get like some of the things, you get grid patterns, you take a little picture, and then you do a grid. But remember, at this time, there's no photographs, there's no video, you got no iPhone, you got nothing. It's just your memory and drawings.
Right.
And then to go out there and go,
you also forgot about the guy up top yelling at you. You're going wrong. Go that way.
Go left. You know, erase that. So you're scraping your feet against the ground trying to clear it out. But
But that just goes back to the idea how great as mathematicians they were. Because it's almost like how they even back in their times, they were drawing at a bigger scale. So I am sure they were doing this stuff in small scale and then translating that to bigger scale.
Yeah.
And then as far as we know, there has been studies and they have proof that they were actually doing it the way they do it nowadays, where they use stakes and then extend the string.
That's right. I read about that. That you can do it.
And so there is proof of that.
Oh, and how did they prove that? I was just curious.
Because they did find remains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they found
that they were able to trace it back.
Oh, wow.
back 2,000 years.
Wow.
And you mentioned Machu Picchu a few times, and one of the things that were interesting, and I knew about it, I would love to go visit and head down to Peru. I'll put it on my list. But the engineering was so precise.
It was.
That like you can take a knife blade, you can't actually insert it between the bricks, and there was no mortar used like with the pyramids. Just a perfect structure, and it was on a fault line. So actually, some of the design, the bricks in the building can move like we do in modern architecture to help buildings withstand an earthquake. And so you had this kind of movement there. Really fun. I know people said it was a lost city, but it wasn't lost. The Incas knew where it was at. The Spanish didn't find it, though. So really fascinating. And then you had the archaeologists come down, and they actually found it in the early 1900s, I believe, I think it's a person, the name will come to me, who Indiana Jones was based off of. Hiram Bingham III came down and rediscovered
because the locals were the ones that were taking him there.
That's right. Yep, a farmer or someone took him there and took credit.
Chicago.
I don't know where he was from. I think he was from Yale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was taking artifacts to
we
Yale.
knew he was American.
Yeah,
we didn't know that.
Yep. So like a lot of artifacts were, you're right, Chicago, they were mostly in the middle, I think in Middle East, Asia, North Africa. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these artifacts from places were taken without the country's permission. And so a lot of these artifacts from Peru went to Yale. That's where Bingham was funded. His kind of funders were from that area. But yeah, and
that's what we need to do. Find someone to fund us so that we can go to see the Nazca Lines.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
We need a sponsor. Rabbit Hole Research field trip.
Is that like a tourist attraction?
It is a tourist attraction.
And how do they protect it so that it's not messed up? You know what I mean?
Well, this is very interesting because there had been a lot of people that went to Peru. But to all of us Peruvians, we would say this German lady, Reiki, she was the one that really made it a point to have Peru protect this civilization. She is primarily responsible for that. And thanks to her, the Nazca Lines were recognized by UNESCO as Peru's patrimony in 1994.
Was that the Lady of the Lines?
That was the Lady of the Lines. She actually bought a house very close to the Nazca Lines and decided to spend her entire life there.
Like
that
she
was
slept on the lines to protect them, things like that. Yeah, it was really fascinating. I did come across that.
Yeah.
So.
Wait,
she dedicated her entire life.
She slept on the lines?
To protect them, right.
It was her mission.
That didn't do any damage to it, or?
No.
Well, before she even came around, people were just walking through everything, not even thinking it was anything, because how will they know?
Got it.
Yeah, 'cause you can't tell. Like, so it's just some random, just a patch of dirt and dust. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I mean,
who's gonna fix this? No, that's
don't touch
really
it.
fascinating.
I'm gonna sleep here.
Yeah.
Thank
she
you.
She was a mathematician in her own right to maybe see that and figure it out.
I wonder what brought her there in the first place. Like, did she know they were there and went?
Well, she learned that there were those Nazca Lines, and it really intrigued her to the point to where she dedicated her entire life.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she was like a scientist. I mean, like a researcher.
To study the lines, and once she saw the lines herself, she just couldn't leave Peru.
Right. No, really fascinating.
The Lady of the Lines.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. She was a German mathematician.
She was a German lady, yeah.
No, really fascinating. No, I think that's...
And that goes to show how just one person can make such a huge difference.
One person can make such a huge difference. Yes. Yeah. But then, I mean, we have, just like the pyramids, people go, oh, it's not earthbound humans. I know where Nick was going earlier with his alienation theory.
I love the idea of it because
you want to be an alien.
I am an alien. Thank you.
Yes, he's going to Mars. He already said that. He's going to lava tubes of Mars.
There and lick some rocks.
Then you'll be an alien on their planet.
Exactly.
Right.
I know it's said in jest, but I don't like the idea that anything that is fascinating or interesting that happened a long time ago was done by aliens.
Right.
See, so the reason they do that is because
I know it's said in jest.
Mary.
Yeah.
Anyone of color, they just go, oh, they didn't do this. This was aliens.
Yeah, no
it's
one.
Like,
how could
pardon
they?
or what?
Yeah. So,
but yes, it's always one of those rooted in very
Well, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I think you like the idea of some, stories.
I mean,
you know
a
what
little
I mean?
aside, but right, that was like Neanderthals at first were thought to be savage and unintelligent, but then when it was found that people of European descent had Neanderthal DNA,
Then
all of a sudden they
suddenly-
became very ingenious and social.
Thanks.
To Nick's point, you get that in cultures where it's like, oh yeah, this great thing that was done, mathematical and genius. Maybe aliens came down and did that. So it is a little dismissive.
Hold
of
on.
it.
What do you have over there? Actually, I think I discovered that. You guys didn't discover that. I did that. Thank you.
I really thought you were like, wait, what are you
I
talking
know,
about?
right? It's like, oh, my DNA is.
That's really good.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
that
Yeah.
was some good acting.
I
Nick.
know. Look at Nick. He's on
Look
top
at
of it.
me. Is this our new segment? Oh, are we going to an ad break?
Yeah, we got
Our new our new segment is
sponsor here.
Was this done by aliens? No, it was not.
All right, I'm gonna switch from the very cool and exciting, and hopefully one day I get to go see the Nazca Lines. I'm really inspired. So after Lorena, she brought this up, we got a little art event, and we'll probably touch on that a little later. But this came up. I was like, oh, doing the Nazca Lines, and I started. Oh yeah, that sounds great. And Peruvian culture sounds great. Just always like to have that. I mean, we talk about science and curiosity, but being curious of culture and things is truly exciting. And so I'm going to put a pin in it because we're going to come back and maybe talk a little more about Peruvian culture. Because there's some fun things from Peru that in my list. I always have a list we can talk about. But I want to talk about maybe more controversial are the crop circles.
Yes.
Which are like the modern day. And so generally it's this phenomenon that in a field, typically a cereal crop like wheat, barley, canola, corn, you all of a sudden have this pattern form in the middle of acres. In the middle, you have this huge pattern form of some geometric pattern, some mathematical thing.
Pretty spontaneously, too.
And spontaneously, like there's been videos where this happens within like an hour or two. And it's just really, and that lends itself to the alien. And I know Nick
Theory that
right.
Nick likes to
That's
talk
exactly
about.
right. Yeah, Nick has been waiting for this, so I want to give it to
Aliens.
So that's aliens.
Or it could be some other paranormal
or just
kinda,
a hoax.
But that would be a pretty elaborate hoax. I mean,
Yeah.
a pretty well done
Yeah.
hoax.
Well, and you're also just destroying your own crops at that point, unless it's already been a bad crop year and you know that it's going to be wasted. So they go ahead and do this, and they're like, hey, look at this. Something happened.
Well, I personally think that those circles that were created were almost like a blueprint for the puquios. Because everything, if you
Or
plan
the
things
opposite
out,
way, right? The crop circles are
the crop circles,
what was it again?
the puquios.
Puquios.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Actually, can you go ahead and give a little explanation of what puquilos are?
Yeah, we can talk about the puquios. I would just say that they are like kind of like blueprints to the puquios, because that puquios is perhaps to us Peruvians the most important part of the Nazca Lines. I mean, it's amazing that the Nazca Lines have remained in there for so many years, but the puquios are pretty much talk about the Nazca people as amazing engineers, because they were able to get water into an area that's a desert. And so therefore, when the puquios were created, I assume they needed some sort of blueprint. And I feel like those circles that we see are perhaps blueprints for that.
Or are these irrigation kind of
Yeah,
structures?
they do have it. A whole, they do have a whole, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So that water idea, that maybe where that comes from.
That was the main thing for the Nazca people, because they live in such extreme place where they get no water. Yeah, like we discussed, it's sometimes they would just get one rain a year.
Right.
So then therefore that's why we all said they're like aqueduct engineers. We will say
exactly.
that.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
they were
right,
amazing in that craft. And that's the most important part about the Nazca Lines.
Right.
People think the most important part about the Nazca Lines is the fact that the lines are still there 2,000 years later. But no, what's amazing is the fact that they created this underground aqueduct system to be able to survive.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but they created these animals to give them as offerings so that they can get rain. Because if you think about the hummingbird, if you think about the monkey, those were tailored to the Amazons, and the Amazon in the part of Peru is where they get a lot of rain. It's a humid place. So they were trying to talk to the gods about, let us get some water.
Right.
Yeah. And the puquios were these huge circles that had pebbles all around it. And then they created this, how would you say this, like tunnel. So it's like tunnels. And then even though the lines are maybe not as deep, but the puquios are very deep down. There are thousands of pictures where you can see that it's almost like a, how would you say, when the wind rolls around?
Tornado?
Like a tornado effect, to be able to have the wind help the water just travel down and then just bring it around the whole area. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then even nowadays, there's a lot of puquios that are still working. They're functioning.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's more.
Interesting.
So it's more about water than
It was
like,
all about the water.
It was all about
That's
water.
what it was for them. It was all about the water. And ultimately, that's why the Nazca people disappeared, because of the lack of water. When they brought the water and then they did the exchange with the people that were in the Amazon area, they brought in trees. And so trees were finally growing, the moringa tree. And then they felt like the tree was going to take a lot of their water. In their belief, they decided to cut the trees.
Oh.
And then when they cut the trees, their ground was not stabilized anymore by the roots. And then when the El Nino came, so we call in Peru El Nino, when there's a lot of water that came, it pretty much destroyed their crops.
Yeah.
And then once the crops were destroyed, there was no tree. So it was ultimately, that's what led to them just either dying or ending the whole
abandoning it.
civilization.
Right.
Because the civilization that came after them pretty much found them in a weak state.
Yeah.
And that's where they ended. And that's where the next Peruvian civilization came in.
Yeah. That's really interesting. You're right. The Nazca lines are amazing for their structure, aerial view. But these ancient aqueducts, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
This kind of engineering feat to actually drive water in pre-Inca. Because you're right. People think Inca is the height of Peruvian civilization. They stood on the shoulders of great engineers and mathematicians who had that knowledge to do that. It's really interesting.
And then we were also taught that a couple of the people who were Nazcas were able to travel to different areas, ultimately where the Incas established themselves. So there were a lot of people who taught them about this whole aqueduct system that ultimately helped create the Inca Empire, and which is what we still have nowadays.
That's really cool. And you can visit that, right? Is that a tourist site?
Yeah, it is a tourist, and it is one of the seven wonders of the world. Machu Picchu is
right. And Machu Picchu is because Machu Picchu was really like, I think people think but it's really like a royal kind of palace, right?
It was ruled by the Inca Empire, and the Inca Empire stretched beyond the country of Peru.
Right.
So it took a large chunk of South America.
Right. They had that. What was all included in that? Do you know? I'm trying to think. What countries? Bolivia, and was that, or no?
It was all around the coast. So it had to be Bolivia,
right,
Ecuador, Argentina.
I'm testing your
Geography.
Peruvian history, right?
My
Are you smarter than a Peruvian fifth grader?
Right. So thank you.
No, but the aqueducts, right? So this is what we do on a Rebel Research and talk about that. But the aqueducts, we think of the Romans and their aqueducts and their moving water around and how clever they were. This gets to Nick's point earlier that depending on your cultural background, you get credited for things.
Oh, yeah.
But these structures were created in the same time and geographically
in different areas,
thousands of miles apart, the Atlantic Ocean apart. And you had these technologies. So there were just creative peoples that did this in any societies. And even with the lines in Nazca, which gets a lot of credit. That's what we came for this episode. But you had bringing that to our attention, that's really...
And if you think about the lines of Nazca itself, if you think about the ground that we're talking about, it's pretty much a whole bunch of like little pebbles.
That's right.
Maybe
They cleared it away,
maybe the size of
That's
my
right.
fist.
That's right.
It's like pebbles everywhere that are red pebbles. And we can go there nowadays and just pick up the pebbles and use our feet to pull like the sand out, and then you will eventually get to like a yellow.
That's right.
Like a yellow dirt,
gray
if you want to call
ground.
it. Like a yellow ground.
That's how these were created. They just move the pebbles. These
they move the pebbles
iron oxide kind of coated pebbles. Because I was reading about this, and they just move that around. And to put this in perspective, the Nazca peoples, that was about 500 BC.
Right.
So that was their timeline to about 500 AD. So 1,000-year span for the civilization, which is a good stretch of time for a civilization to do things, right? I mean, that's America's celebrating 250 years. So we're a quarter of the way to, and a great civilization.
Us as Peruvians feel the big pressure because it's like we think about all these amazing civilizations that came before us, but then they always say, okay, so what are we doing now? So where do we go from now?
Right.
So so that just leads. I don't live in Peru. I was born and raised in Peru, and I am here in the States.
Right.
And so there's always that idea in the back of my head that as a Peruvian person, we have to establish ourselves where we are, because they always tell us if you are able to leave your country, become the ambassador of Peru. So then you can teach people about our culture, you can teach people about things, and that's primarily what I do. So I am a Peruvian artist. And then I do showcase a lot of the things within my culture in my paintings. That's why when I paint something, I want to give you a little glimpse onto the different parts of the civilizations, cultures, things I've seen. And it's very important. Like I just created a piece that was a hummingbird in homage to the Nazca Lines. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I made a donation of this little 5x5, and it was a hummingbird. Oh, no. And then I did the hummingbird in homage to the Nazca people.
Well, if you have a photo of that, we can share it on the...
For sure. We will share it with people.
The show notes.
Yeah. And I did that as an homage to the Nazca people. And then every painting of mine will give you a glimpse into my culture and then into my ancestors.
And I was gonna note that the Roman Empire was about 20-ish BC to 470 AD. So the Nazca civilization actually outspans that. So they're aqueducts. So like I said, we think about these great engineering feats being a very European centric kind of thing, because that's what we're taught a lot of that, right? That's right.
Leads you to.
But yeah.
And I know you mentioned the pyramids a couple of times, but we do have pyramids in Peru as well that have been proven to be older than the famous pyramids that you're talking about.
Older than the Egyptian pyramids.
Yes.
Very good.
I want to say there's pyramids all throughout South America, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they've been...
I know they have pyramids in Mexico as well, but yes, but as far as we know, the pyramids that they found in Peru are older than the famous pyramids that everyone talks about. So,
and they all have the general same idea too, which I always find so cool, that it's having that same structural, like...
Yeah. The pyramid shape is a very stable shape. And to your point, I mean, the Egyptian pyramids, 2700 BC-ish. And I think the pyramids in Peru and South America are in that same time frame. So it was just one of these things. So if the aliens came down, they spread the information wide and far, to Mary's point. It's like, hey everybody, we're gonna equalize this whole thing.
Right.
To make a nice level even playing field.
Do you have an idea or question about the crop circles?
I know, I want to get back to crop circles.
I was going to wait until it came around organically, but now that we're here.
I think that was pretty organically.
Okay. So since now we have this time together, crop circles have been debunked.
Yeah, there was the theory, that Doug and Dave confession, right? Are you seeing that in 1991?
Yeah.
Is that your thing?
It's on JSTOR. I want to make this clear that I'm not talking like there's crop circles and there's Nazca lines. So
that's right.
Nazca lines is something completely different. We're talking about crop circles, and the crop circles that we've seen pretty much since the 1970s have been created by humans.
Well, hold on. I will push back a little bit because I think the Dave and Doug confessions in 91, but they had been making these crop circles since 1978. And they then showed how they made the circles with planks and ropes and different signaling guides to, I think Nick alluded to that. Hey, over there, what are you doing? Move left, move right.
Right.
And they had that, but they also couldn't account for all the circles made because some of the circles were made under video surveillance. They happened within hours. And the Dave and Doug, so no crop circle has been made. The ones that still are non-hoax, the 20% or so that we can go, these aren't hoaxes. They happen in a time period that was too fast. Like no one can create a crop circle that fast, that large, and say that it was done. That's right, and intricate. That was there.
When you were mentioning the crop circles, I thought you were referring to the Nazca circles because we do have Nazca circles, that's why I said that would be the blueprint to the puquios.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
that's what I meant. So I didn't understand that you were talking about actual crop circles. I thought that you were calling it crop circles, which were actually circles that are part of the Nazca circles.
Oh, that's a different thing.
I apologize for that.
No, you're fine.
Because we're in the Nazca topic, so the Nazca circles are part of the, I would say, blueprint to the puquios.
Right.
So now it makes sense.
It. Yeah, that's what I kept saying. I was like, oh, do you mean they were the blueprint to the crop circles?
No,
but yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, the topic of Nazca, my mind is thinking Nazca.
See
I
that?
mean, and that because I'm Peruvian, anything you say, I always revert it back to Peru. So then you're talking circles. And so I'm like, oh, okay, we're talking about the Nazca circles, not necessarily crops. I apologize for that.
We're just bringing you back to England.
Fine, that's fine. We just jumped somewhere else and nobody told me, but that's fine. So we do have circles as far as the Nazca circles. And I believe those circles in the Nazca circles are pretty much like blueprints to the puquios.
That's right, yes.
Crop circles in like farmland.
Yes.
Like
no. That wasn't.
I was
in the
gonna say,
Nazca
water really
civilization.
played a big part in the movie Signs.
That's right. It
Do you
did. That's
remember?
right. Yeah.
They left the cups of water.
Aliens were
Yeah.
water sensitive. They were. They had they were.
I don't know.
Yep. But no, you had. I mean, the crop circles are fascinating because in England, that's a reference that you get crop circles all the time. We go to England now. We got to give England some love, right?
That's fine. I was just trying to follow you guys, but
you're fine. The rabbit holes shift and we just do it. But so
we hop pretty quickly.
We can hop pretty quickly sometimes. I try to bring it back.
This article that you were reading about it being debunked, is it because those guys confessed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, it was us. This is how we did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they went through and they actually demonstrated it for live media. They did a whole thing. But still, there's crop circles that they can't explain away. So I think it was I think the belief is like 20% of crop circles are legit. They don't understand how they were made, like how fast they were done. The complexity of it, the mathematical Fibonacci kind of patterns. It's just the sophistication. And then the plants, because they're done in crops, unlike the desert, because they're done in crops and things like that.
But these crop circles are dated to what year?
I think they first
around.
I think they first noticed that about in the 70s.
That's exactly right. It's a modern phenomenon. 70s, 80s, that was it.
And
in England, I think England was like the place where
they first found them.
That's right. Exactly right. Yep. And now it's like over 70 different countries have had.
Wow.
But it's all in these crop species. So wheat.
Because it's all tall grasses,
canola, right?
Right?
Corn. So you have tall grasses, and then the plants aren't smushed, so it's not like someone trampled them. Like the kind of leaves and the stalks are broken in a certain way that it's like something else happened to depress the plants.
I do wonder if it was just the start of like a tornado that didn't happen for some of them.
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, that's
I don't know. I have no evidence behind that.
I don't know. Where are you? Did you look this up, or are you just kind of
that was just me spitballing. I'm quick from the hip here, buddy.
Blister.
But let's pivot a little bit back to, the Nazca. I wonder why Nazca lines get conflated a bit with crop circles.
I don't know.
I think because you can view them aerial.
I think they're geoglyphs, right? So you're just going to look at geoglyphs and throw them all in the same kind of category there, and not take cultural, historical kind of context in there. But yeah, that's because geoglyphs are just large designs made on the ground.
But there's a big belief that you can only see the Nazca lines from the air, and that's not true because you can always see it from the mountain too.
Oh, right.
So
but you're
there's
up
a
in
mountain
elevation,
range.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is elevation, so that's the same.
So you
I'll give the same idea.
So you can almost see it that way too. Think that someone could have gone up there and somehow, see what they were doing and go back and forth. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but you don't have technology. It's not like you can call them down. So to make that journey and then to move a few pebbles and then go back up, hey, you know what? And you could graph it out, mathematically figure it out, make a graph. It's like in art class. It's like you want to draw a picture, but make it larger. You divide it up into a grid, and then you make a larger portion of the grid, and you keep going through. So you could do the same thing.
It's nice that you mentioned art, because there was also a belief that it was just an art expression as well. So it was them trying to express themselves artistically.
Yep. I was going to say, part of my list was that there are other countries in South America, Bolivia. You had mentioned that the Peruvian Empire had stretched much further, but Bolivia had these kind of lines, the Sahama lines. I looked up there, the Paracas Candelabra kind of lines, so these large etched figures in the hillsides facing the Pacific Ocean. In Chile, you have also figures that were etched into the ground.
But the Paracas was another civilization that was happening at the same time.
At the same time, right. Okay.
The Nazca was happening.
Right.
And Paracas is also considered another Peruvian civilization.
Right. So, as the Peruvian Empire, this group, Brazil, Bolivia, you had the Amazon geoglyphs that I mentioned earlier that they found as they were.
And then that's another thing. In Peru, they always talk about the Amazon. And the Amazon is part of Peru and it's part of Brazil as well. But the Amazon River starts in Peru and it ends in Brazil. So there has been a lot of conflict, wondering who does it belong to?
Right.
Does it belong to the country where it starts, or does it belong to the country where it ends?
Right. Yeah. Yep. At one point in time, that probably was all one country, and then it got split.
Correct. Yeah.
We can move to Asia. I mentioned Kakistan and their geoglyphs, so they also have it. It's been referred to as the Nazca of Kakistan.
Really?
Yeah. So they have 260 colossal figures, crosses, rings, squares,
I know
lines.
they discovered some geoglyphs too here in the States. I don't know if any of my American friends can, speak on it. A little bit.
It's not anything. It came up in, I believe, California. They have geoglyphs, or large figures in the Colorado Desert near Blythe, California. I found that they have human figures about 171 feet long, made by Native American cultures.
And that's
there.
also a desert. Right?
Also a desert that you have that in. And then in Iowa, Wisconsin, there's about 200 earths
That's
in
very
Iowa.
nice. And this is something that I would love.
I see you shaking your head. Did you?
Oh, no, I was shaking and nodding my head in agreement. Yeah.
And these are actually positive. So the Nazca lines are negatives. So they're flat. Yeah. And then you have positive, which are
almost
raised.
Flat and concaved into the ground.
Right. And so the ones in Iowa and Wisconsin are these piled up structures that would form. And a lot of, I think they're associated with the Ho-Chunk Nation that might have done these designs and made those. And then in Ohio, you also have a giant snake. So they're still in research on this because it was so pervasive throughout cultures around the world.
You know what? And I think it's very important, because I live here in the States now, and I would love to hear all these things from my friends who are from here that can educate me on your culture, on your things.
Well, I don't think this is something that
I don't think a lot of people
know about.
But it would be nice if they did, because that's something that we can have in common.
To some people.
Talk to me and tell me about it, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? We have the Nazca lines, and therefore,
Right.
You probably want to go to a
connection.
reservation,
Yeah.
and they will end up having more information. But going outside of a res, you're not going to find
And
all that many people that have a lot of
I mean,
information.
I would say
about
also that maybe not. A lot of those cultures have, because they got moved. The Trail of Tears,
They
they
did.
got moved off
a lot
their
of them did get moved around, yeah.
actual land and their home country, and they were moved to other parts of America with faulty treaties and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not to get political and all
I
that,
mean,
but
and-
it's like, no,
and
but you
just
had
getting
that
straight up-
happen where, right, and so they lose their language. So that happened. The enslaved Africans that came lost their language. Now you have
The re-education schools that
Native Americans losing their
lost
culture
so
and their
many of
language.
them.
Yeah. So these structures that were created might be lost. So you're asking, especially in American culture, like, oh, say these things. The
They're still getting
majority
discovered.
of America were from Europe, right? So Europe came and colonized America. And so when you're saying, hey, teach me the culture of America as a country who was here, those people might not know that, because that's, as Nick is saying, you have to find
But I
different
think
people.
that's
yeah.
a personal thing.
Yeah, no,
because I
that's right.
choose
That's
to
right.
be, I
That's
choose
right.
to be an ambassador
Yeah.
for my country.
Right.
So I'm sure.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I just met him, but you
Yeah.
guys know
Yeah.
me, and then when
Yeah.
you guys have a conversation with me,
Yeah.
I'm just always trying to throw in there like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
Peruvian. You know what? Do you know about this? Try
But
this. Try that.
I think what would happen is that I would talk about growing up in Philadelphia, like, and the history that's there, and the birthplace of America,
And that'll be
that would
perfectly
it.
fine, and that would be
Georgia
nice
from
facts, yeah.
Arizona and Colorado in the Southwest, and that's Nick from Northwest Indiana and Chicago. We're talking about that. Mary,
Or another
Mary,
planet.
What's that?
what is your? Are you from this area? Sorry.
I'm not. No,
Okay.
I'm from. Well, I was born in Minnesota.
Okay.
But I grew up in Southwest Virginia in
Okay. Yeah.
a place near Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay, Roanoke. Oh, that sounds
Not Roanoke Island.
okay.
But Roanoke Island is on the coast. Roanoke, Virginia is in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Okay, is that the famous Roanoke with all of the paranormal?
Disappearance.
Right, the disappearance of the.
Oh, the Croatan
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, Roanoke Island is on the coast.
Okay. Oh, so that's okay.
Yeah,
I see.
Roanoke.
You just got
yeah.
the same town name.
Well, yeah, that's called Roanoke Island, but Roanoke is a city in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's very
Okay,
it's,
sorry.
it's a few hours away from the
You're
water.
just like
Yeah.
it's Roanoke Island. Roanoke.
Roanoke.
The
Just-
other Roanoke.
Yeah, the Star City of the South. So that's where
Oh.
yeah. If you go up to Mill Mountain, there's a giant neon star, and you can hang out. And
Well, maybe we can go someday.
it's
That's
a
right.
great. It's,
Especially since it's not the paranormal Roanoke.
Well, exactly.
Unfortunately.
I'd rather I think I'd rather go to the Roanoke City, the city of Roanoke.
We'll leave
instead.
it up to you, Mary,
we're
to take
de-
us to the nice places in your area. Yeah.
Well, I haven't lived there in about 25 years, 30
Yeah.
years
Are
now.
there nice
We'll
areas? You're
rediscover
like,
it together.
Yeah, well,
Don't
there
worry.
you
We'll
go.
go.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I know
We'll
more
find the
places around
history.
here now, I
Mhm.
think. So, yeah, there's
Yeah.
that.
No, I think
Yep.
you're right. I think exploring. We talk
And
about being
understanding
curious.
where we're from.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Understanding our ancestors.
Right,
That's
right.
something that
I mean,
a
I
lot
think
of
that's
people
beautiful.
I think
That's
the other
beautiful.
thing in America I want to point out is that understanding who was here before us. I mean, you
Right.
pointed out in Peru that you have an understanding that Incas
Yeah.
weren't the start, that there were civilizations
Many
before
civilizations before us.
that. And
But there's
in
so many
America,
people
we're
here in
not-
America that
that's
don't
right. That's right.
understand that or
Yeah, right.
Right.
choose
Or
to
choose
not
not
know
to
that
think
part of
about it.
history.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And
But-
that is, it's sad,
yeah.
but the history is still there.
I know there's a lot of history everywhere, but I think it's up to the people
Right.
to let us know the people who are not from here about your history, because that's what we're trying to do. I know I'm not from here, and I come here and I'm trying to give you guys
We love it.
this vision of my culture and my country.
Absolutely. And well, let's talk about the offerings for a second. Can we?
Oh, yes.
Available at Jose's Family Restaurant. Ding.
In downtown
Okay.
Highland,
That's
the
right.
only Peruvian restaurant in Northwest Indiana. And
Yeah.
you guys should come and check it out, 2934 Highway Avenue, Highland, Indiana, 46322.
Love it. We'll
Yeah.
put that in the show notes and have that
Right.
there. And I was going to say,
And
you
very
brought
neat.
up food. I think food and culture go together. And I just want we go and we eat things in our culture, but the potato the tomato, quinoa, coca,
Right.
and I saw this and the guinea pig.
Yeah, those are all Peruvian.
From Peruvian, that's
And
right.
I'll tell you
And
another
the guinea
fact.
pig as food, not as a pet, because in America, a lot of people, is that true, right?
It is very
That's
true.
Right. That's right.
It is very true. And it's very sad for me to even say this. But in Peru, we do grow guinea pigs as a source of food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
that kind of makes
And I
sense.
don't- not
in
only
America,
that,
we eat
it
a lot of
does-
animals, so don't be.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was just surprise. I didn't know
but
that.
then
I
also
really
we
didn't know
use,
that.
we
until I was
use
doing my
the guinea
research.
pig.
Yep.
The guinea pig has also been used for rituals.
Yeah, that's right.
So in my
Yep,
culture,
yep.
when when somebody gets sick in our Peruvian household, what we do is we use a guinea pig and we offer it.
Mm-hmm.
So we will do our praying and we will rub it against your body, and then eventually the guinea pig will take your sickness away from you, and then it will die. So it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So we are a culture big on sacrifice.
I
And
love
then I'll
when that
give you
makes sense.
another fact. Now that we're talking about that, I know I have a lot of friends here in America, and they love beef jerky. But
Yes.
did you know beef jerky is a Peruvian thing?
Oh, okay. Now I-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then jerky, the word jerky came from Quechua, which is charqui. We know it as charqui. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So when a lot of people offer me a beef jerky, I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah.
And then you have, is it a day of potato?
Yeah, we do have over 400 different varieties of
Right.
potato. So if
Amazing.
anything, we are the potato
That's right.
people.
That's right.
Wow.
And so I have a garden out, and one thing I do is heirlooms. And just to clarify, what an heirloom is in plant language, an heirloom breeds true. And so if you take a heirloom plant and you actually collect seed from it, you will get the same plant from it. So that's what's considered an heirloom versus a hybrid plant that if you grow it and you plant it the next season, you would get a combination of the parents
Like a hybrid.
that gave it to it.
Right.
So that's what's called a F1, and you get the F2s. And so and then you can breed it true if you keep crossing it with itself. Eventually, it would breed itself true and become an heirloom. And so in Peru, the potato cultivars, people are going back to. And so in history, we think of the Irish in potatoes and the potato famine. And what happened there was they had a monoculture. And so that means that they just grew one cultivar of potato. And so if a disease comes through, then all your potatoes, you
gone.
lose it. If you have a multicultural agricultural practice, which in South America, and particularly in Peru, you would then have this case where you have all these cultivars. And then so if one disease comes through, you have other cultivars that would keep thriving. And then when the disease passed, you can reintroduce that cultivar there. So
That is very true.
You know, in America, we do a lot of monoculture farming practices. And if a disease comes through, you might hear, oh, corn this year is down or this is down. And that's because these crops that we grow are all ones that were bred and selected for particular traits and features
Right.
that help mass agriculture.
But we will
here-
never be down because we
That's right.
have thought
That's
about
right.
that
That's right. That's right.
ahead of time.
These agricultural practices are really key and come from. So we think about the engineering and architectural, Nazca lines, aqueducts, but agriculturally, that's really
mathematicianly
that's right.
agri-tree,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Peru is really well known for potatoes. Sorry, a little aside there about a
I
little
know.
science there, but it is something to geek out about, and I knew that from potato, tomato, and other thing, tomato, potato, tobacco. They're all in the nightshade family.
Oh, yeah.
So that's eggplant.
Tomato.
They all are. They grow. They're all tropical plants. They all grow in this family. And so actually when European settlers came to North America, South America, they were afraid to eat tomatoes because they knew the nightshade family in Europe was a poisonous plant. And so when they came to the New World, tomato was like, whoa, we can't.
It's
That's right.
considered
Yeah,
poisonous.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And in Peru, we us Peruvians, I mean, I cook every day. And so I have been taught by my grandma, like my mother and my grandmother, that when we actually deal with tomatoes, we don't eat the seeds.
Interesting.
It's really
Yeah,
interesting to me that when I go to different restaurants that are not Peruvian, that they will cut the tomato and
It's
serve it
just
to
right
you
there.
with the seed, because that is a big no-no for it. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
like
there's no
interesting.
harm eating the seeds of
Not
tomatoes.
nowadays,
Right. That's right.
it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, this
Yeah.
is something that has
Yeah.
been ingrained
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
mind because it's supposed to be considered poisonous.
That's right.
Yeah. So therefore, if you go to a Peruvian restaurant and you find a seed, they will refund your money because they should know better than, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're coming to the end of this. We mentioned some movies, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Specifically mentioned the Nazca Lines. That was part of there was a clue or something in that movie. It wasn't one of my favorite of the movies, but they did have the Nazca Lines in there, and it was mentioned there.
Out on a Limb, I think, has the Nazca Lines.
Yep.
Did you ever see the TV movie? Did you ever see that?
Which one?
Out on a Limb. It
No.
was they took Shirley MacLaine's memoir where she gets really into reincarnation and everything like that. And one of the things she ends up going, I didn't connect it at the first, but there's actually a scene in the TV movie where she's flying over and she's seeing the Nazca Lines from up above.
No, I didn't see it, Mary.
Yeah.
Just so you know, when I grew up in Peru, I grew up in extreme poverty. So I grew up in the streets. I never had a TV or anything like that. So therefore, even now, when I live here, I don't watch TV or anything like that. But I did see something here that caught my eye. That's another Peruvian reference, if I may talk about it.
Please, go for it.
Straight ahead from me, there's a yellow book that says Tupac. Okay, did you know that rapper Tupac was named after a Peruvian person?
I did not know that.
Oh, that's a nice fact for you to know.
Yeah.
So we have this person called Tupac Amaru in Peru, and he was named after Tupac.
Wow. Really cool.
Very interesting.
So
yeah.
Lorena is pointing to one of the books.
One of the books that is right there.
in the
An
basement
author
studios.
that Georgia had.
Yeah,
Signed,
he was
yeah.
at the library.
Yeah,
I think
but
he was at your library too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like Tupac, Tupac is a Peruvian name. Tupac is a Peruvian name.
We can take a picture of the.
Yeah, we can put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Put that in the show notes.
So we were talking about several movies
Yes.
that featured either crop circles or other.
Yeah, I mean, the only one with the Nazca Lines was the Indiana Jones
And the one that Mary mentioned.
TV movie.
TV movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So really, there hasn't been much else. It hasn't shown up in pop culture.
No, I think you have.
Or-
I think like the crop circles have been more of the ones. Like X-Files had a number of episodes with them in.
Signs.
Right,
And then
Signs.
there's
Yep,
a new
that's
movie
right,
coming
that's right.
out in July called Disclosure Day. And it looks really interesting. It has to do with aliens and crop circles. And I'm excited to see it.
Where does it center on? Does it say?
I believe it's going to be probably in America.
Yes,
But,
some cornfield in
exactly.
the Midwest.
It is directed by Steven Spielberg, too.
Hey. Oh, that's right. That's that movie.
That's
oh,
the
wow,
one.
yeah.
And where is it
Yeah,
set?
yeah,
Or does it say?
yeah.
It doesn't really say.
Now did Spielberg in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, did that have like, I know the pattern things, but did that have drawings and shapes and the aliens are trying to communicate? I mean, kind of like Arrival 2 had that with patterns.
I think so. Where
Right,
it's,
right. Yeah, that idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought the movie, what was it
Disclosure
called?
Day.
Disclosure. Is that related to
I think
Close
it is.
Encounters?
Yeah.
Kind of like the unofficial sequel or prequel or something
Yeah,
like
it's dealing with government
Right,
cover-ups
right,
and all that.
Oh,
and,
government cover-ups.
Always. Government cover-ups.
Uh,
Yeah, it's going to be June 12th.
June
That's when it
12th.
is.
All right, this will come out 2 days before that. so
Nice.
you guys will be all ready for.
Good time. Good timing.
And then Knowing, was that with Nicolas Cage?
I
That
walked
one?
out of that film, so I can't answer anything
You
about
walked
that.
out.
What, you
Right.
just really
Yeah.
disliked
I
it?
was so bored during it.
I
That's
didn't.
the only movie I've ever walked out of and gotten my money back for.
And,
Wow.
and that was a Nicolas Cage movie?
Yep.
Yes, it
Nicolas
was.
Cage, yeah.
Wow.
With his very bad hair plugs
And it was
in
like
that one.
encoded messages left in the
I
ground,
didn't see it.
predicted disasters.
It was so
like,
bad.
yeah, whole thing.
It was not
Um,
good.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Nick Cage, so.
Would you have stayed?
I don't know, watching on videos. I guess I would have. Yeah, interesting. There was a few video games that popped up on my list. Nick's thinking, will he get them?
I'm going to say it was... Oh, man. I actually don't think I have any off the top of my head for this one.
Well, I had one was Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
And the whole
that game is beautiful.
Yeah, the landscape itself was like a geoglyph, is what I in my research done. Because I kind of looked.
I always
for
thought
these,
they were titans, essentially.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just because of how big they were and moving.
Right. Destiny.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can see that.
kind of
like
ground markings.
Yeah,
Then it had Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That
That
they
was
left the ancient civilizations, left enormous ground level structures, signals that
that one's kind of a stretch because the ancient civilization is our current day in that.
Well, I mean, if it's
So-
if it's 100 years in the future,
Yeah,
then that would be we would
exactly.
be ancient.
Exactly.
I mean,
but like
sheesh.
saying that there were messages of What other ones?
That's it. That was my video game. You've played all these?
Yes, actually, I have.
I love this guy. He's awesome.
Wow.
He's awesome. He's there.
Like what? Shadows of Colossus. It's an old one, but I would highly recommend anyone to go back and try it out.
Yeah. No, it came up because I do this like cultural thing to try to find references to the topic in pop culture and see if I can tether it to it. And so, yeah, it's always awesome to get that. No, we've covered a lot of ground. No pun intended.
There you go.
So, yeah, I think we touched a lot about Peruvian culture.
Yeah,
so
but
I want to give you
ultimately, I would like to know, what is your belief? Why do you think
what
this?
was my belief?
Yeah, everyone's. Yes. What do you believe? Why do you believe these lines were created by the Nazca people? Because now we know that they were created by actual people.
Yeah, we're going to not
So
listen to Nick about aliens.
I know it's not.
Aliens.
It's been proven that it wasn't created by aliens.
I agree that.
But what is your belief?
Yeah, I'm going to say something here that we talk about time travel and would we go back and explore. And as people of color, there's not a lot of time points in history that are friendly
Right.
at times to people of color. Right. And so, but
Octavia
there are
Butler
things.
wrote a whole book about it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Not advised.
I think about that. And when we have conversations like this and someone like Lorena, you come on and you talk about the Peruvian culture and I dig in my own research. I'm like, it would be interesting to go back. I can't speak the language or anything, but just to see what was going on, I think that would be fascinating. So I'm deflecting a little bit, tethering it to
A
other
little bit.
episodes.
So,
That was
basically, you're going to time travel and then you'll come back.
Yeah, I just think it's so fascinating. And I'm going to go back to that. I think that humans are just really ingenious and creative. And if not constrained by the society they're in or given the freedoms, I know Nick will talk offline, but I think that the potential there is just so great that we can create so many great things and we don't have to attribute that to aliens per se and think about this in that way. But it's just, we can do really great things. We put our minds to it.
I agree.
And so I just love that. So that's my take on it. I'll leave it to the rest of the crew to give their opinions.
So let's see what Mary
yeah.
thinks. What do you think, Mary?
What do I think about Nazca lines?
The Nazca lines.
I don't have an opinion on them, actually.
You guys gave me a hard time about pushing.
Yeah. I think that it is beautiful to look back and see what humans have done with. And we tend to think that if we don't have the things that we are available to us today, then the things that happened in the past are impossible. And it's not true. But I don't know enough on it to comment on it, but I know it was definitely not aliens.
Okay.
So
I agree.
I agree.
It's not aliens.
Hot take.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree.
We should give our ancestors more credit.
Correct.
Yes. Our stupid ancestors.
That's right. They didn't have TVs
They didn't have TVs,
or
iPhones,
Wi-Fi or anything.
None of that stuff.
They don't even know about the thing yet.
Yeah, that's right. They know nothing about the. They
Oh, well, maybe they do. It did land a long time ago.
Doom.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
What do you think, Georgia?
You had time to.
I can't really comment either. Like, I don't have a lot of background knowledge about.
That's how I feel. I feel like I can't
We had
really.
a whole episode, people.
Yeah, I know.
I think,
but we
that's
have an expert here.
What
we have a
questions
guest.
do you have left?
No, I think it's amazing, and it's kind of mind-boggling. But I really don't know, and I don't know the reason why. But it makes sense to me what you said about that was a blueprint for
and an offering, so that they can get more water.
right, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
Right, in such a dry, arid climate to
Do you have anything?
Find a way.
Nick?
But you also just an artistic expression where humans are artistic
Right.
people, and that's that
Okay.
the creative side that I'm talking about. Sorry, I jumped back in here.
Yeah.
No, it's
To get some
fine.
ideas. Okay, Nick, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I think that there was an actual reason for them at the time.
And that
Yes, artistic creation is a thing, especially throughout all history, but I do think that there was something more that they were trying to convey to the people.
But artistic expression is a really big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to.
No, I'm not downplaying. I'm
But
saying
you're
that
talking about
something at that massive scale,
something
there was something that they were trying to lead you to or away
communicate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Or maybe
you're not
bring
using
to to us.
sure.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just for shits and giggles.
But it could be both, right? Because
could,
we
yes.
use, Statue of Liberty.
But like
It's a huge beacon that
Exactly.
has a very meaningful context that we have. So big things can have artistic value, but also
exactly.
But
you know,
have a
yeah,
practical.
yeah, right, exactly.
Exactly. And that's what I would say.
Yeah,
We don't know the idea of the message.
you're speculating.
Exactly. It's all speculation right now.
Yeah, what are you speculating?
2000
What's your speculation?
2,000 years later.
Aliens. I know that's what you wanted.
He was waiting for it.
All right.
No, I don't think
All right.
I don't think it's aliens.
But
I don't
as
like
I said,
that.
I think
because, I was going to say the reason I don't think it's aliens, right? We give aliens too much credit,
for everything.
right? And the problem is that, in my mind, and I'm not the first person to express this opinion, but if we take humans as an example, when humans go to some place new, they don't go there with flowers and kumbaya. They go and they take over. And they go to take the resources. They go and they extract. If we think of South America, how much extraction happened from South America to
horrible.
Europe?
And,
So that's the point. If aliens came, I don't think they're going to be like, hey, guys, you know what? Let me teach you guys some complex mathematical formulas and how to build crazy structures to communicate with us. I think they're coming here. They travel all this way. They're going to take the goods and leave. Right? I mean, I love these aliens.
I'm not trying to go. I'm
Yeah,
trying
right.
to stay.
That's right. So that's my anti-alien view.
Okay. And on that
Oh,
note,
okay.
we need to cut you off, Joe.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to leave it. Co-hosts, do you guys have anything
I would like
you
to say
ask or
something
anything?
just to end this
Yeah.
up. I just want to say one word, Tupananchiskama, which is a Quechua word and means until life meet us again. Because in Quechua language, we don't have a say that would say, okay, bye or goodbye. So we would say Tupananchiskama.
Tupan-
Tupananchiskama,
Tupananchka Kama.
which means until life bring us together again.
I like
That's very
that.
cool.
We
I
don't
like
say
that a lot.
goodbye.
Yeah.
I do too.
So if anyone has any questions about Peru and stuff, is there a way for them to ask you or?
Of course, please come find me. I am Lorena Salinas, and I wish for anyone that has any questions about Peru to ask me, and I will give you my knowledge based on my experience because I was born and raised in my country, and I am very passionate about sharing my culture, sharing my experiences, sharing my language.
Very cool.
And if
Yeah.
you're in
Excellent.
the area, you could visit.
You got a fabulous restaurant with great Peruvian food. Had dinner there and drinks and just great. So why don't you tell the folks listening, get them excited.
Talk to them a
Come
little
in.
bit
Yeah,
about
please, go
what
ahead.
I'm bringing
Mike's
as
here.
far
Give
as
a
my
few minutes.
Peruvian
Yeah,
culture.
definitely.
Yes, guys,
Thank you.
just so you know, I am Lorena Salinas once again. I am a Peruvian artist. I paint I can do many different styles. I love abstract work, but I can do realistic work as well. I have a restaurant here in downtown Highland, Indiana, 2934 Highway Avenue, and it's Jose's Family Restaurant. You will be able to enjoy truthful Peruvian cuisine because my father is a chef, my mother is the pastry chef, and we do have Peruvian spirits. You can try Peruvian beer, Peruvian wine, Peruvian whiskey. And if you let me know ahead of time that you'll be there, I will meet you there to guide you through the whole Peruvian experience. Thank you.
And we'll put links to Jose's. We'll put links to any art shows you have and things like that. We'll share that and blast it out. Friends of the podcast. No, this has been really a great conversation.
Absolutely.
I think we went down a lot of different rabbit holes.
For sure.
But yeah, so thank you again for joining us and
Thank you,
sharing
Lorena.
your culture. And,
Thank you for
and
having me, guys.
everyone out there. You have me, Joe.
You got Nick.
We've got Nick.
Georgia.
We've got Georgia.
We got Mary.
We've got Mary.
And we went down some holes.
You guys out there, stay safe, stay curious, try some Peruvian spirits and food.
At Jose's Family Restaurant in Highland, Indiana.
That's right.
Or find a Peruvian restaurant near you if you don't live
That's
in Northwest Indiana. We love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Adios.